Hey Keon, I wanted to leave you some feedback on Essay 3. So as a whole, I think that this is working pretty well. I like the fact that you give the reader some background information on biopics. Then you introduce the specific movie that you want to focus on. Make sure that you italicize the title here. I really like this background information um, about the difficulties of biopics. Um, I think the idea of the uncanny valley is something that needs to be grouped together. So you mention it here, talk about the movie in general, and then you go back to that idea. Try to position those paragraphs closer to each other or those ideas closer to each other. That way the reader doesn't get whiplash. So in general, readers like it when like information occurs um, close to each other, right, in the paper, meaning that you talk about it here, you don't talk about it here, but you talk about it here. So it's better to have these paragraphs close to each other. Um, I do see some discussion of the criteria for analysis. What I don't see yet is a clear thesis. Um, so here you say, I want to focus on David Fincher's 2010 biopic, The Social Network, where he depicts the creation of the world's largest social media platform and the major lawsuits that happened after. Um, and then you give information about the difficulty of creating biopics and that the movie avoids some of those issues. But what I don't quite see yet is a clear thesis. So, a thesis that identifies how well the film succeeds in what it tries to do. In other words, I don't yet see what criteria for analysis you're using to analyze the movie and what your position is. I think you have smatterings of it in all of these paragraphs, but you need a thesis that brings all this together, right? So, what I can gather is that you want to talk about how there are challenges that exist with biopics and that this movie successfully overcame those challenges, right? But when you simply tell us, I want to focus on this, that's fine, but we don't understand why or what your point is going to be. And your point should be answering how well the film succeeds in what it tries to do. So I think you need to revise for a clear thesis. And once you do, there'll be some tweaking that you need to do in these paragraphs as well to make sure that your key ideas align with that thesis, right? Another thing that I want you to think about, I love this idea that you end with, but you like don't take it anywhere. So in your final draft, make sure that you come back to this and explain why it cannot and should not be used to educate yourself on the history of Facebook, or perhaps why anyone would want to do that in the first place, right? And I'm not challenging the idea. I'm just saying that it's actually a very interesting one. I just have no idea why you said that, right? And so explaining that in more depth would be great for you to do. So that's what I would focus on for revision. I think it's off to a good start. But yeah, some clarifying in the argument, some thinking about reorganization, and then expanding your ideas can really help you get there. All right, thanks.